Hello, everybody. I'm CJ Miller. I'm in my kitchen in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Here on this counter, I have some catfish fillets. And how I did this was I did this in a uh, all-purpose flour, just a regular old all-purpose flour. And the reason why is because sometimes a cornmeal or corn or something like that, I have sometimes an allergic reaction if there's too much corn. And it just seems that I do better with, with the white breading, white flour breading. Now, this is something, and I didn't invent this. This was something that we used to do in a restaurant. Uh, we would do the catfish and we would dredge it in white flour and drop it in our fryolator. Uh, of course, we would take like one of these large bits of catfish and we would cut it in half and then we would crisscross them. And so it was like it looked good in a nice bistro kind of way. But I'm Southern, and whenever I cook enough to last for a couple of meals. I you know, and then I rotate out. Now, all of yesterday, I did really well. I only had like a very small portion. I had a meal somewhere. I don't know. No, I think most of the day, I really did well. Did you know? Like I think a small piece of what do you Gordon's fish, a little triangular piece. I had one of those and some slices of Gouda cheese, yellow Gouda cheese. That was my meal yesterday because you know when I have days where I eat more food than the days around the times when I'm eating more food than typical, then I eat less in between. It's not a I don't know. Basically, what it is I just kind of listen to my body, and when my body needs more carbs, I give it more carbs. This case, I've been, loving fried food, but what happens with me is I'll get the ingredients for frying, and I'll fry something. Usually, I'll pan fry it, and because it's for me a little bit simpler than dropping something in like a tall vat of oil or grease or something like that. I think pan frying is just so much easier to deal with at home. If I were in a kitchen, of course, I would use a basket fry later or something like that. But I have a the Gotham steel square pan has a basket that I could fill with oil and use the basket, but it's more like those components don't necessarily. I love the Gotham steel, but those components for that fry basket they really just don't work very well, especially if you plan on putting a lid over on top of that basket. What they need to do is they need to create a taller pan. Then you need to be able to use the fry basket in the oil, and then you need to be able to cover the fry basket with the lid on top of the pan. Uh, you can sort of kind of do that, but not exactly. So it I can't give it 100 on my score because of that one fitting. But I do like the Gotham Steel cookware. I really like the non-stick stuff. But here, what I did, a nice segue here. I used a cast iron skillet on my stove top and took the catfish, soaked it in milk, whole milk. Uh, whole milk does have some acidity. There are some people that talk about um, like biscuits or whatever. They'll talk about the difference between buttermilk and whole milk, and they'll even go as far as to say that there is no acidity in whole milk, and that's simply just not true. You know, uh, it's not near as much. Buttermilk is a lot more acidic than whole milk, but either will work for a long term, uh, you know, uh, marinating. And what I did was I took the fish and I put it in the milk. And basically, it was to ensure, just a more pleasant, all the way around pleasant flavor. Now, you should never uh, get your fish and open it up, and it should never be like, whoo, that smells like fish. Ugh. It should never be that. Your fish should never smell potent. Uh, but sometimes with fish there's a slight pungency, and uh, that's normal with fish. And a good way to neutralize that is a good soak in the milk. Now, if you can't get milk, you can use water and a little bit of baking soda. Learned that in a restaurant too. That baking soda helps. Will just kind of just to neutralize the odor anyway. But aside from that, it's use milk. Forget that whole baking soda tip. We're not soda stripping hair, getting it ready for color or perm. It's something else I used to do. Hair. But anyway, let's do this. Let's take the fish, put it in the milk. I covered mine. I set it in the fridge. Went out for a few hours. Came home. Got prepared to cook my meal. Heated the oil up simultaneously in two pans. Did these thin potatoes. If you want a really really good, you know, hassle-free potato, the thinner you cut it, the better it is. And then you want to get it drained as soon as possible. And you know, like I said this the other day, I cut my French fries like French fries, but cook them more like home fries, where basically, uh, you know, yeah, you could, if I wanted to, I could do fries. Make them thicker and do the whole two step where you cook it at a low temperature, and then if they pull them out, set it aside, let it cool, and then turn your heat up on your grease really really high, or your oil really really high, and drop your potatoes back in, and they get that crispy outside. I'm like, you know what? I could do that if I were getting paid to do that, but I'm sitting here doing this at home, so I'm not going to double French fry my French fries. So you get the home fries treatment, where we take smaller potatoes, put them in the pan, sometimes with an onion. And something you can do here is you can slice an onion in between this fish. As you're taking the fish out to rest, you can take slices of onion and put it through, and the 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 onion will come up through the fish and kind of like give a little bit of a flavor too. That's not really, it's not oniony. It doesn't taste like an onion through the fish. It almost tastes like, wow. It's got a almost a freshening appeal to it. Um, but it depends upon who I'm cooking for, whether I would do that or not. Actually, to be honest with you, I have a purple onion in the oven. I mean, in the refrigerator in the tray, and I literally just forgot that I was going to slice it and put it between the fish, because the heat of the fish pulls those onion fumes, the vapors up. The ones that make us cry. Except if you're used to being in a kitchen, you don't really cry over onions anymore. Okay, so, but that's it. That's, well, I'll eat some in a moment, but that's not really what this is about. I want to talk about something else. And here we are. It's my new easel. Now, it's a titanium, and it's thin. It's not heavily weighted. I'm not going to be able to, like, just go to town on this thing, but it does have brackets that will hold a canvas. And the potential for this will go really, really great. It's also got a tray I've not managed to put on here yet. So, I'll do that later. I'm not doing it now. But that's so cool. I want to do more artwork because I'm creating a book of short poetry. I've talked about that, and a lot of the photos in there, basically because it's poetry is emotional. It's about exploring emotions, making observances. Especially what I've written is very abstract. It just has a lot to do with like observances over my lifetime. Not so much from uh, I see this and I see that kind of thing. It's not necessarily a first person narrative type poetry. Maybe some of it, but usually that's in character that I've created, uh, so I can create a how can I say a change in perspective from what's just inside of me. I want to be able to explore what how other people might view and see things also. So a lot of the I see this and I think this about it. A lot of that is from a character point of view. Uh, Real observances in poetry, but from a characterization, you know, but not disingenuine or whatever. It's not insincere, I should say. It is from a very sincere place of wanting to understand how other people might observe the world, throughout various times and things, and so whatever. But a lot of the paintings that I do uh, tend to involve uh, elements, particularly water. The reason why is that water is the element of emotion. That's why hearts, emotion on your cards, your playing cards, they're represented in the tarot deck as cups that hold water, drink even, uh, whether it's water, which is emotion, or drink, such as a goblet of wine or something like that, which makes a person get into their emotion. Have you ever heard that phrase? Oh, he's into his cups. Well, that's where you kind of get that from. That's the reference that you get that. Oh, he's definitely in his cups today. Being very sensitive, feeling emotion. You know, that. So anyway, blah blah blah. Um, yeah, but this easel, I can adjust it. This isn't even as tall as it gets, but this is just right here. It's great. Uh, Now, the most difficult thing, because I know where this is going someplace. I know that I'm doing this. This is going to be for the book. And then, of course, I'll have it hanging around the wall. Anything that I do that you see on this channel, if you're interested in and you want to buy it, any of the pictures or whatever, uh, I probably am at a place where I would let them go, but only at, you know, at a minimum for cost and for shipping and stuff like that, because uh, I have to replenish supplies. So, um, but the hardest thing about creating any sort of art like this is basically just sitting here and wondering what it's going to be and where it's going to fit. Uh, Especially because I'm doing this to include in a book, and the type of work that I do is uh, it's almost an expressionistic uh, form that's it wants to be realistic, it wants to tell a realistic story, but it also wants to explore abstract ideas. Also, it wants to be open to interpretation. So I don't do photo finish type, you know uh, the amount of tweaking I'd have to do. Like, I tweak enough as it is. It would take me a couple of years to be able to do something that looked like a photo. I don't. That's not me. I don't. That's not where my artistic ability lives. You know, my I'm almost storybookish in what I do, like storybook illustration kind of stuff. It's almost like that. That's kind of where I'm at with my level of achievement, which is great because this is going into a book of poetry. But to sit back and wonder where and what it's going to be, I don't know. And in this consideration, in this pondering, however long it takes, the artistic process has already begun, even before I ever put a brush to this canvas. It actually started when I ordered this easel. Uh, and the reason why is because I didn't have one and I wasn't going to paint before. Like, I had some tables before when I was doing some other canvas, and I had them laid out, but I knew I was going to replace those tables, so I didn't mind if they got a little paint on them or something. I'm definitely these really awesome tables that I have here in the dining area of my apartment. I'm not going to paint on them. I'm not going to ruin them with paint. There's one thing when they got delivered, there was one small nick that had chipped away the finish of the wood, and I was unhappy looking at it. And what I was able to do, and you can't tell. No one would know. You wouldn't be able to look at it and find it if I told you. It so perfectly blends with this amount. Was I used a burnt umber acrylic, put just a touch of it in where the nick on the tabletop was, and wow, you know, this table has so many different nuances in the wood. And I'll tell you something, it's actually manufactured wood, like it's wood, and it's been, it's not like, chopped up or anything like that. Like it wasn't like a chopped straight from a tree and then put together and then stained or varnished or whatever. It was kind of pressed and manufactured. But I did some research, and the durability of both types of tables were appropriate. And I've shown the tables before, but you'll see them. I'm not showing them now because I've got like a towel and some. Oh, but yeah, here I'll just take the towel away. But yeah, there's that's what they look like, and so I've got the opening of stuff. I just like push stuff to the back as I did it, but you wouldn't be able to because of the burnt umber. You wouldn't be able to find that nick anywhere, and uh, it acrylic is damn near uh, airtight and watertight once it really dries completely. It's like a armor for something like that. So um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at consider what I want to do. I also have in the past spoken with people, talked with people, and had figured out some theme that they want to explore, some idea that they want to express in their home. Uh, and I have worked with and accepted commission for painting that I work specifically for uh, people. And when I do that, well, it's a one of a kind piece. I don't repeat my work. Aside from the pieces that are going in this book, uh, and then there's some social media posting, but I don't make prints and sell prints of my canvases. I simply just sell the canvases, and I don't make prints. And I ask that, for the most part, if it's at all possible, maybe make some copies or something for your insurance or something like that. But I just ask people when I sell them, please let it remain that one of a kind. Please don't, like make copies and resell the work and stuff. Whatever. I just, uh, even when I used to write poetry and I would post it online, and sometimes I'll still do that here or there, but it's more like don't use my work to help someone else create a profit. There was this on this website, there was a thing called Shining Light, where if you light someone's work, you could pay $5 and they would send their piece of work all the way up to the front page, and it would get prominent notice. And what that meant was everybody would see it, and everybody who was anybody would like it or whatever. And it's like, um, that's basically bullshit. Not really. I mean, everybody, when you do something, you post something like that, you want it to be read and you want it to be seen by as many people as possible, and you want as much exposure because it's really about reaching out and communicating with people. That's why artists are artists. It's the way that we reach out and communicate to people. And sometimes I'm an artist, and sometimes I feel very prolific, and like every day is writing and painting, and then sometimes it's like, wow, I can go months between uh, doing something like a painting. It's been months since I've done it. Like I don't know how long it's been. When I bought these canvases, I did three of them. I set some of them aside, and I'm just now breaking them out. This is from the same stack that those that those two things, those three things actually. It's from the same pile of canvases that I bought and brought home. But I think I'm probably going to sit this up and watch it and look at it and see what happens um, for, I don't know, for a little while, at least until I can get some new paints. Because I don't want to be limited by I don't want to be limited by not having a lot of a paint on hand right now. Uh, I've done some stuff with oil paint, but I've also proven that given the right amount of discipline, I can take an acrylic and make it look every bit as wonderful and luscious and true as an oil painting, and it won't bleed, like the oil won't bleed into the canvas. So, uh, which is a case that does happen with oil. Oil is oily. Oil will get soaked into the canvas, and there will be a distortion, and that's why you have to work very, very slowly. Oil takes forever to dry. Acrylic dries within to the touch within a matter of minutes, and within an hour or so can be uh, completely dry. Something I've always wondered, and I don't really want to explore it because it will eventually dry, but I'll show you. The very thick stems that I did on these abstract flowers, I wanted lots of texture. One thing that you can do is you can take like bits of paper, kind of paper mache it onto a canvas and then paint over that. I didn't do that this time. I literally took tubes, the tube of the burnt umber, and just kind of like worked. Well, you can scroll back and you can see maybe when I was working. It was a series called Paintings in Progress or something that I was doing. I don't know. Uh, and this was just the final one. It's like I'd done some things that required a lot of detail, and I wanted to do something just really, really quick, just to kind of close out that feeling. So I did this one in a very short amount of time, relative to everything. But of course, because the paint was so thick on here, that it really took forever before I could do anything with it. Uh, but I just wonder, truly, is it truly dry underneath? Feels like it is, but I don't want to scratch it and find out. I like the way it looks. I don't want to mess it up. Anyway, come on outside for a moment. Ah, what a beautiful sky. So the phone that I'm using has a very cracked screen and everything, but I have another phone that's coming, and it's been like, I don't know, I'm going to be a little ironic here. Forgive me because I don't care about any of this, but I feel in the last few days that I've been like a Jewish person waiting on the Messiah. He'll be here anytime. But uh, uh, um, no, I'm just waiting on my cell phone so I can like actually get everything that I've been videoing and talking about in the last few days. I've not really been able to see what's going on because everything's been through a cracked screen. I've done some things with another uh, phone that I have. I never throw my phones out. I always save them because there's notes and stuff like that on them that I can retrieve. But you know, uh, but looking at the sky with my naked eye, it's a beautiful, uh, partly cloudy to cloudy night sky, and even though it's nighttime, to my eye, the clouds, they've got a little bit of a pinkishness going on. I don't know, not entirely, but it just seems like sometimes when I've seen like a gray and a very, very faint pink, they could almost be the same. You know, uh, it could just be that I'm looking at this and then I'm seeing through the cityscape. There's these red beacons of lights atop towers that are blinking, and that could be giving a false pinkness in my mind. It could be a sense of relativity. How, like, depending upon the colors that you wear on your body, will determine, if you look healthy or sickly with your skin tone or whatever. You really want to wear uh, the best skin tones that you possibly can. So I don't know. Sometimes you're a summer, sometimes you're a. I think most people really just, if they see an outfit or an ensemble, they'll put together and they'll wear what they want if they think about that. A lot of times people just wear clothes basically because it's just something that you got to put something on, and they don't put effort into putting stuff together. And then sometimes people just make do with what they have too. I've certainly lived that life where it's like I would love a lovely fancy outfit, but really what you do is you wear what you have, and that's after you've washed it out in the tub and wrung it out and hung it up to dry. But I love the night. Okay, so I've let my food drain long enough. All right, and since my table is rather disorganized right now, uh, for me unpacking the delivery of that easel, I gonna sit here at a TV tray and I'm going to have a little tasting of my fish. Now I could use anything if I wanted to, some yum yum sauce, mayo, anything as a dipping sauce or whatever. I just want this as simple. Uh, since I am getting closer and closer to the strict version, like I do pretty strict on this anyway. I'll have like this amount of potato with this fish and probably won't eat again for another 6 hours, really. Uh, and I kind of like rotate out, but I'm getting closer to really, really going really, really full on keto. You know, as few carbs as I can possibly manage to get away with, without torturing myself. You do sometimes need carbs if you're going to do something like this. Actually, to go too long without eating some sort of carb uh, is if you get into that keto acidosis, that is dangerous. You don't really want to do that. Um, you know, ketosis is fine, but you don't want to go into that acidosis where you can like go into like shock from it or something like that. You have to be careful. Um, Listen to your body. Okay, and communicate with your doctors if you're going to do something really extreme like that. Um, what I did with these potatoes, guess what? When I pulled them out, that cayenne pepper, little sprinkle of the cayenne pepper, because I'm from Louisiana. Yeah, cayenne pepper spray. Hit me in the face. That's the spice to me, baby. Uh, let's taste this fish. You know what really wouldn't hurt this? Now, um, I'm not doing it, but if you wanted to, you could take that cayenne pepper and put just a touch of powdered sugar, just the smallest amount of powdered sugar into uh, a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, and do it to taste. Not just so you want to get enough. You want to get a balance of flavor. You want to get a little bit of a neutralizing or something to kind of give a counter. That's why a good Asian yum yum sauce is good. It's spicy, but it's got a sweet to it. But in this case, like with this, you could put like a touch of sugar in your flour. But if you're trying to reduce that, you just you learn to go more savory with the absence of sweet, without a balance of sweet. So uh, that's kind of cool. That's why in my cooking I do a lot of green herbs and things like that. I love powerful, flavorful foods. Okay, so look how thick this is for a fillet, right? Okay, I just took a bite of the breading by itself before getting into the fish, and there is that spiciness, but it's not like, and I love it. I would say this is an appropriate amount from a Louisiana person. They would appreciate this. You're getting just a touch of a sensation on your lips, um, but it's not like it's not the kind of stuff that's gonna like shock your throat, like make you like oh my god, and almost die from eating. You ever see someone and they eat like a pepper and it's like and they all tear up and everything? It's yeah. This isn't that kind of heat. This is an example I want to talk about. Like this should be a flavor enhancer. It should enhance the flavor of the food. It shouldn't overpower it. Everything's finger food in the South. Emily Post said chicken is finger food in the South, or it's not finger food except in the South. I don't know. Was that a compliment or was she being bitchy? Leave the South alone, bitch. But anyway, um, good, flavorful, flaky kind of fish. This was great. Um, right then, um, hot grease in a cast iron skillet, about 2 minutes on each side, and then I would flip it, and then maybe I did that a couple of times. Maybe if I needed to, I'd maybe want to reduce the heat for a little bit, and then I could turn it back up. But the whole idea is you don't want to burn your food, but your food does have to get firm and crisp. And when you go to drain it too, if it's soggy, if you don't get your grease hot, then your fish will be soggy. And instead of getting crispy, it's like it would have been like soaked through and through with oil, and you try to lift that sucker out, that piece of fish, and it's basically would just fall apart. Okay, did you hear that? Listen to this. Wait. Ha. Okay. You should be able to tap. Yeah, there should be a French fry. The slight crispiness. I love these. If I'd have kept frying these, you ever see those cans of shoestring potatoes? We used to love those when we were kids. But these are great. And you've seen me in the last few days do fries that are of various thicknesses. Some were thicker, like dinner fries. Some were closer to French fries, and and I gradually just got thinner and thinner. But basically, uh, if you can get to a thin fry, if you can be patient enough to do a thin chop on your fry, they will be so easy to handle. Uh, and they'll brown a little bit better. They'll brown more evenly. And yeah, listen to this crunch. Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna let you go so I can finish my meal, uh, and then kind of chill out for a little bit. And then I've got some dishes to take care of because I cooked in the middle of the night, which for me is the middle of my day. Um, I love you guys. Love and light, peace. God bless. And good night. And P.S. I think that next time I do something, maybe I'll do like a lemon pepper chicken or something. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, love you. Good night.